Just urine. I'm
It'll
sorry.
be all right. We'll send you a link afterward.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're good to go.
Okay, there should be one of me. Okay. Thank you so much for speaking with me.
Sure.
This series is amazing. And so we have to talk about the major plot twist that happened. When it came to Cipher and Godolkin being there, he's the puppet to Cipher and the awakening of Godolkin for that purpose. What I wanted to know is for this season, when did that idea initially come through? Was that something that was already settled upon in season one? And how did that kind of
No, that happened in season 2 when we knew we wanted a new dean, and we knew we wanted the new dean to be a Supe, and when we figured out what his power was going to be, it sort of all came from there.
Okay. And do you feel, or you could answer this, were there Easter eggs along the way that viewers may have missed, that because it always felt that he could have been alive, but the fact that they're two different people?
Well, for instance, when Marie says she doesn't, who could have been alive?
That Godolkin
could have been alive.
Yes, because we didn't know. That was a big mystery for us.
The Easter eggs were more about Cipher. For instance, Marie couldn't detect V in his blood because he wasn't a superhero. He was just a meat puppet, essentially. And the fact that he eats like those really weird, gross shakes, and doesn't, because food for him is just fuel to keep the body alive.
Right.
So yes, there are a lot of little things like that throughout the season that smart people picked up
on. I wanted to know about the use of flashbacks, because a lot of memory, people don't have a trusted memory. We also go through flashbacks in order to learn more about them. Can you talk about kind of the look and feel of how that is interwoven into the scene so that it gives us the information that we need without giving us too much information?
Can you give me an example of what you're talking about?
Well, just in general, we know that Kate's memory is completely, the way how she uses her power, there's that unreliability factor. We also know what we think that we know, or what the characters think they know, but their memory has also been changed and altered.
Yes. So there's a couple of different types of flashbacks in the show. We have the flashback to 1968, I think it was, or 1967, when Godolkin was back in early days of Vought. And that is, as sort of presented, sort of, there's no sort of POV in that, so it is presented as this is a real thing that happened. And then when, for instance, when Jordan remembers seeing Cipher at Elmira, that is her point of view. So we always try to clarify who is having this memory, and I try and be very sparing with flashbacks, and it's only if something is confusing or something is going to help us understand it. But yeah, I think you always do have to remember who a flashback in someone's specific POV is only their experience, and there could be lots of other experiences.
Right. So also with Marie and Annabeth, we have finally that reunion. It didn't go how fans thought it would, with, big cry and hugging and accepting with each other. What I wanted to know is the discussions about kind of making them not see eye to eye and carrying that guilt that Marie still has with what happened with her parents. Now she's facing that with Annabeth.
The reason that Annabeth is not, I think if Marie is so happy to see her, Annabeth is not. But what we find out is Annabeth has her own guilt, that as much as she's blaming Marie for what happened and hates Supes and hates that she's a Supe and has grown up hating that, what's underneath all of that is her own self-hatred and her own blame. Like, I could have stopped this and I didn't. She loves Marie, but it's so hard and complicated. So I like that there was a journey to that relationship, that everyone sort of came to the truth of the relationship.
Right. And then also with Kate, it's really interesting how her power is tied to her identity. And she really didn't have a sense of, not say purpose, but that identity wasn't strong when it came in season 2 because she lost that power. Can you talk about kind of her journey of discovering who she is without power? And will she able to find peace within herself with or without power whenever that may happen?
I think she did. As much as she was begging Marie to fix her, to heal her, um, with power, Kate, power, as they, the saying being power corrupts, and I think that is if you take away anything from the boys' universe, it's like, don't get superpowers because you're just going to get messed up by them. But she actually ends up doing the right thing in the end. And I think that is who she truly is.
Right.
Yeah, I do think it's a good point that she's sort of able to figure out who she is without power.
Wonderful. And then also have to talk about the boys a little bit. This intertwines, as we've seen from the finale of season 1, how everything comes together. What I wanted to know is the process of blending kind of the both shows, where they both have their own separate identity, working with, within this universe, but also having to have shared kind of plots and interwoven storylines. How is that about?
It's very organic, and it's a dialogue, as we develop our story and as the boys are developing their story, and we'll just talk about things, and we'll have an idea of something that could impact their world and they have an idea about it. So it really is always a dialogue, and it's fun to sort of fit pieces together while still telling your own story. Like, I still think you can watch Gen V and not watch the boys and still enjoy it.
Was there one, do you feel for this season, did this kind of not overpower, but had more, I don't want to say authority, but it took more reign in the storyline of which characters would come into this universe or this story?
Maybe, I think because Sister Sage was very involved with Cipher and Godolkin. And because, the story in the second season launches from the boys in a really specific way, where the boys sort of remade the world, and now it's Homelander's universe. So I think it naturally felt more present because, now we're in Homelander's America. So I think that's probably why it felt that way. But I like that. I think it feels all of a piece.
Right. So this series is also known for its outrageous moments that they have. Was there one that was particularly fun to shoot?
Oh my gosh. Black Hole's rescue, hero moment at the end was just ridiculous, and how many different pieces of that had to be shot to make that work. That was totally ridiculous. The dance sequence was really fun. They're all fun in their own way, because what's fun about it is you write it on a piece of paper and then you have to figure out, okay, how do we make this work, and how smart everyone is in being able to, and no one ever says, I don't think we can do this. Everyone's like, oh, how can we do this?
Wonderful. And then lastly, when it comes to the villain of Godolkin is the villain for this season. What I wanted to know is, do you view him in terms of how it's the shot and how everything looks as a villain character, or is he someone who just has his own thoughts that goes against someone else?
No, I kind of view him as a villain. I think he's anybody who comes into the world with a really strong prejudice and a really strong belief that their way is right and everyone else's way is wrong. It's like, no, you're a villain, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking to me.
Of course.